Just a friendly reminder that the opinions expressed on this show are not worth a Canadian penny, so disregard anything you hear that might get anyone in trouble. And despite some of the great ideas you may hear, don't try them at home. Go to a friend's house instead.
It's time to get a gun. That's what I've been thinking. Well, I could afford one. And if I did just a little less drinking, time to put something between me and the sun. When the talking is over, it's time to get a gun.
Hey everyone, welcome to Slamfire Radio, episode 293 for February 28th,
293.
293?
No!
200. I said
290 and 3.
You did say 293, not 293.
I know. I said it because of the fact that you're on tonight, and
Because of the fact. Everything's a fact with you. Because of the fact. Because of the fact. Where's my clicker?
reality.
I got a new clicker thing. Every time you say because of the fact, I'm clicking.
The fact is, it's February 28th, 2019.
Fact.
The fact is, I'm one of your
That is a
hosts,
factual date.
Kelly.
Trevor?
I am, in fact, Adriel.
You said it out of order.
I was out of order. I'm sorry.
Fact. Yeah. Factually out of order.
That's right.
I call point of order on that. Speaking of point of order, where is Matthew?
He's winging it.
He's winging it.
Yeah.
He actually is winging it.
Yep. He's on a
He's
wing and a
working on
prayer.
this thing. We miss him. I miss him.
Yes. Matthew
Yeah,
missed
Matt.
out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You'll hear
Matthew-
why.
Yeah, you'll hear why, buddy.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh well. Sorry, Matthew. All right.
Sorry, not sorry. That'll learn you. And Bolivar's probably like, oh, I should have stayed on longer. He's not really back anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, what are you going to do?
Stop
So listen.
producing Modern Rifleman Radio.
That
Nope.
got nothing.
Nope.
Alright.
Yeah.
Why don't we
Listeners
talk
will get in on,
why don't we talk about what we did in guns? So what we did in guns this week is brought to you by the Calgary Shooting Centre, Canada's premier firearm retailer. Labrador. Oh my God, Labrador.
Kind of
Chronograph.
close. Yeah,
I
very
know.
close.
I have the green light to buy one of these, by the way, for the
Oh,
club.
do you?
Yeah.
$750. It's the Labrador chronograph.
And of course, I get all the,
That's
I would go with all the bells and whistles because there's other stuff. But why don't you tell us? Sorry, I'll stop interrupting. I'm just excited because I'm allowed to buy one. Go ahead and tell us what it's all about.
Well, it has advanced tracking radar. It tracks bullets up to 100 yards, up to 100 shots per series with up to 9,999 series. What's that?
You said and.
I know. I put it in there on
It's the
purpose.
cop radar that they point at cars for bullets.
Ah,
Yep.
And that's all it is. And it's amazing. You don't have to attach it to your gun or shoot into it like you do with all those ones you put in front and you inevitably pop around into them because it sits to the side and it's magic. It just magically detects the bullet going down range.
sweet.
It also calculates kinetic energy and power factor for USPSA, IDPA, and IPSC.
Oh,
So in other
power
words-
factor's nice.
So
Yeah.
in other words, you're buying one.
USB and SD card downloads,
Yeah.
battery status indicator. Like it is the Cadillac of chronographs. So I said to Muffin, I think we need one of these for nationals. And he said, I think you should buy it a year ahead so we can learn how to use it. So it'll be bulletproof at nationals. And I'm like, yeah, baby.
Well, you're not shooting it.
Yeah, they're not bulletproof. You
I'm
put them
kidding.
to the side of the gun. That's the whole point.
The whole point is that you not put the bullet actually physically through the chronograph.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool, though.
No, seriously. So they're in stock at the Calgary Shooting Center.
Mhm.
And if you want to chronograph your bullets in non-communist fashion, you'll buy one from them.
Right. IPSC and IDPA power factor calculations are on it. Oh my God, you got to buy one of these.
Yep.
6 AAA battery operation not included. Of course, the batteries are not included. Okay. So why don't we go on with what we did in guns? Trevor, you've got a whole list here. Or
I'm
you're
actually adding to
typing
it.
as you're typing as I'm asking. You want me to go to Adriel first?
No, I'm good. I'm
Okay.
good. So I installed the replacement parts on my Dillon and promptly broke the primer punch.
No,
So-
serious?
Seriously, as I was
Wow.
reinstalling the primer punch into the tool head, it broke.
Yeah.
Just metal fatigue from going in and out. So ordered a new one. And while I was ordering it, I noticed that the indexer block was worn. So they said, okay, we'll send you a new one of those as well. They sent me some E-clips for the decapping dies, which they don't have to cover under warranty because it is a part that will wear out. It's a wear part kind of thing. It's like asking for new brakes for your car under warranty. It doesn't work like that. Yeah. But anyway, they did. Of course, they sent. I'm like, oh no, I did look. I can't find them locally. If you can send them, great. But if it's not covered, I'll buy them. He's like, no, I'll give you 2. You pain in the ass. So anyway, he put 2 in there for me.
Do you have them on speed dial?
No, but the number is 1-800-223-4570.
That's easy to remember.
Right? How are you going to forget that?
Yeah.
My customer number, however, I don't remember, but it is written on the cover of my manual. So, so while I, shortly after I ordered the indexer block from them, I realized, or someone pointed out to me, that there's an aftermarket part for this as well. So the indexer block is just a piece of steel, and a plastic indexing ring comes down on this piece of steel, and it's at an angle, and the indexing ring hits the indexer block, and that's what does the self-indexing of the shell plate. So it's a progressive press that self-indexes, automatically indexes. Yeah, like the 550 manually indexes, you actually have to rotate the shell plate by hand. Well, this one auto indexes. The machine does it for you on the downstroke. And it's a wear part. Got to keep it greased. I did keep it greased, but it wore anyway. So there's an aftermarket part where instead of it just being a chunk of steel at an angle, they've replaced that angular cut of steel with a ball bearing. So now your index ring comes down on a ball bearing. So it's not going to wear because the ball bearing is turning as the index ring hits it. And it also makes the press a lot smoother. I had the upgrade bearing kit for my shell plate, which included a low mass detent ball and a low power spring. That didn't work anymore. The shell plate would actually snap backwards. It wouldn't lock into place and index correctly. So I went back to the I just took out the spring and put Dylan's spring back in, kept the low mass ball, and that locked everything up accordingly like it was supposed to. So that took some doing, but I got her all done. I went shooting with Captain Andy. I brought my FX9 to Nova Scotia. We went to, how do I pronounce this? He never says I do it correctly, and I say I don't pronounce it on purpose, but it's Nantucks or Nantucks or Nantucket. I don't know. It's a nice indoor range in Nova Scotia. We went there to sight in my FX9. So at this point, I had 170 through the gun. I put loaded all 17 of my mags up. So I had them loaded to go, so that was 170, plus I had another 100 rounds. Throughout the 170, so the second 170 I put through the gun, I had one failure to feed. The bullet somewhere didn't make it from the magazine to the feed ramp and hit the side of the feed ramp or something. That's been the only legit malfunction that I've had so far. There was also, in that batch of ammo, though, 50 rounds of rejected ammo that didn't go in my case gauge, so it could have been one of those rounds. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't mark the mag that, these 5 mags have the bad rounds. I didn't bother. I just, whatever. Right. So, and then I went to the AMA range on Saturday afternoon. Actually, this was really cool. Normally I shoot there on a Sunday and then I got to drive 5 hours home and get home at like 11:30 at night. Yep. The match, they actually put on a Saturday night squad. So we got there at 5. We started shooting around 5:30 and we were out the door by 7:30. It was amazing.
Did you meet up with Brad to...
Nope.
Do some shooting? No? Okay.
No, don't think so. I think he said he wasn't a member at Nanchucks, so...
No, he's not, but he's a member at AMA.
Right. So I don't know if Brad came out to watch or not. A buddy of mine did with his neighbor's kid and stuff. But so the match was awesome. Unfortunately, I only finished second. And here's why it sucks, because I wanted to be the dude who said I won the first PCC IPSC match in Atlantic, Canada. Unfortunately, that honor goes to Derek Merriweather. He is a listener of the show and a cool dude.
He's watching right now.
Is he?
And a better shooter.
Yep. And apparently a better shooter. Here's the thing, though, Adriel.
Hey, Derek.
Oh, are you going to play What If?
Yes, I am going to play What If. If you go to Practice Score right now and you look at his time, you look at my time, he was, for the entire match, 5.98 seconds faster than me. Okay? But on one long course of fire, he beat me by 7 seconds just on that long course of fire. On that long course of fire, the problem I had was, and they may have actually shot it smarter. We shot it one way, they shot it the other way. We circumvented a shooting position by shooting through a hole in a wall that they forgot to cover. But the match director was like, all right, sniper boy, if you think you can do it, do it. Well, next thing you know, Captain Andy's doing it with his pistol. So it wasn't really all that hard. But We start on the left, they start on the right. That may or may not have been the problem, but for sure what was definitely the problem was I had 2 failures to feed. So I did a mag change, put the mag in, didn't seat the mag correctly. So you shoulder the rifle, take a sight picture, bang, click. Oh, crap. You got to take the gun off your shoulder, tap the mag, rack the charging handle, come back up, bang, finish your sequence. Run down range to another shooting array, perform another mag change, do the same thing. Don't seat the mag properly. Sight picture, bang, click. Oh, tap, rack, bang. Cost me, I don't know. He beat me on that stage by 7 seconds. So on that one stage, he beat me by 7 seconds. But over the entire match, he only beat me by 5.98 seconds. He also, in fairness, had more points than me, but I think I had more alphas. But what didn't happen was the PCC shooters at this match did not beat the best open shooters or the best
Yeah, that
production
kind of surprised me when I saw that.
Well, we got some strong open shooters and strong production shooters. Like that one production guy, Fernando, he's an android. I mean, that's just a fact. Everyone knows that. Like, he doesn't even speak proper English. Could be because he's from Quebec, but I think it's because he's an android. I'm not a scientist.
French android.
A French fast shooting android. Like, he's a machine. So,
aren't all of them fast and androids from Quebec, though? You got
No.
ATM, right?
well, ATN would be more like the $1 Million Man. They had to rebuild him after he blew himself up with that DA-50.
Right.
So, what else we got going on? And then I got home and I decided to clean all of my IPSC pistols and my FX9. I found a worn part, my FX9, so I put in a warranty request with Freedom Ordnance, and then they pass that along on to Wolverine, and I think they get back to me on that. So I also emailed Wolverine pictures of the worn part. The firing pin retaining pin is all peened. So when the firing pin is getting struck by the hammer, it looks like it's going forward and peening the crap out of this pin. So I'd like a new pin, please.
Is that the pin or the firing pin? Because maybe the firing pin wasn't cut correctly and it's going too far forward.
Well, the pin so your firing pin in the FX9 bolt is spring loaded. So you push it in, you compress the spring, and then you insert the firing pin spring.
Mm-hmm.
Or the firing pin retaining pin.
Yep.
Okay. So whenever the firing pin is striking the retaining pin, either on the way forward or on the way back. I'm not sure. I'd have to look at it and see. I mean, it's in between. It's probably on the way back. I'll send you some pictures of how the parts fit together.
Back.
Yeah. So
on the way back, it's going to get hit every time, no matter what. And
right.
that shouldn't have as much force. It should have more force on the way.
Right. It should have more force when the hammer hits it than when the firing pin spring returns the firing pin.
Yeah, because you'd expect that it would hit it every time, regardless if it did that. It's always going to return and hit that, like your firing pin's coming back. Yeah, it's always a stop on there.
Yeah. Yep. So it's probably on the way back. So maybe that pin is just too soft. I don't know. Or maybe it's design. I don't know. Anyway, it's all peened. So we're going to wait and see what Freedom Ordnance and Wolverine have to say about it. And I checked with 2 other owners, and they have the same damage. So, I mean, damage. The gun works. This thing is peened, but whatever.
Bad enough where you're like, it just looks a little bit damaged, or bad enough where you're like, that's going to break after a while.
Oh, yeah, I think it will. I think it's only going to take so many, so I'd like to, have a fresh one maybe for matches and keep the other one in during practice. Yeah. It's kind of silly to have to do that, but I don't want to have it break during a match. Mm-hmm. And maybe unnecessary. So we'll see what they say. So I also cleaned all of my IPSC pistols, and I cleaned the barrels, which is something I've not done to some of them probably ever. So Ballistol is great if you leave it soak for a couple of days at de-leading a barrel. Like,
really?
Oh yeah. Yep. Spray the barrel with Ballistol, leave it sit. And then even before you brush it, you can put a patch through it and pieces of lead will come out of your rifling.
Really?
Yeah. You'll see the lead on the patch. Yep. Pro tip. So I did that, and then
getting lead out of a barrel is a pain in the butt. That's a terrible job,
dude. I was taking pictures for other Trevor and saying, "Look at these patches," and there was lead right on the patches. So
love it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna try it.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys call him Better Trevor, but technically it's Other Trevor.
He's nicer.
Yeah, he is nicer.
In fairness, like, name 3 people that aren't nicer than me. Go.
That are nicer?
Aren't
nicer.
See? There you
Well,
go.
that would be very mean to say that about them on air.
I don't know. I'm trying hard. Sorry.
Brass processing. You can both shut up. brass processing continued. More 9mm, more 223, more 308. My 308, I'm uniforming primer pockets and lightly neck turning and deburring flash holes. And then I loaded up. I bought a pound of powder in Nova Scotia, H325.
Can I ask?
Yes.
Are you loading it with the right powder this time?
Oh, you jerk!
Nice.
Son of a bitch.
Sorry. No, sorry.
Yeah, so that I bought a pound of the correct powder in.
That's good.
It wasn't even the powder I screwed up last time. That was Tight Group and 231.
231. Yeah.
So this was H325. I had some bullets left over from a couple of thousand that I had loaded, so I loaded up 150, finished them off, and then years ago I had loaded some VMAX, 55 grain VMAX in 223 for my XCR. And I loaded them with a recipe I got from Bolivar, 24 grains of H325, which is a good plinking recipe. It was a good 3-gun recipe. Wasn't super snotty. Like, I don't even think it was in the 3,000 feet per second range. So I found a published recipe in a Spear manual. It's the only manual I could find this published data in for 26 grains. So I didn't want to go rogue and up it until I found it somewhere. So I found a 26 grain recipe. So all the ammo I had at 24 grains, I pulled apart, reassembled with 26 grains, including these couple of 155 grain VMAXs. So now they're loaded up for my SLR. So I'll sight my SLR in with these and then just shoot whatever else through it and aim off or whatever. But if I need to go hunting with my SLR, this will be the ammo that I'll grab. So, and then I bought a new Dillon. There's a gentleman from Nova Scotia who was shooting open and he's leaving the sport, and he had a Dillon Square Deal B.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, actually, there's a guy in New Brunswick who had a Dillon 550 that I was looking at with set up for 3 calibers. And it was a good deal. I think he was asking $1,200, and in the end, I think he let it go for $900, which is really good. So I was looking at that, but then when this Square Deal came up, the Square Deal, you got your 550 and your 650, and basically there's 2 major differences between the 550 and the 650. The biggest difference is the 650 auto indexes. The shell plate rotates for you. The 550 does everything the 650 does, but you have to manually index the shell plate. They're both considered progressive presses, like a step above a turret. They both will do rifle as well. The 650 is set up out the box and expected that you're going to use a case feeder. The 550 is not necessarily set up for a case feeder, but you can modify it, or you can add a case feeder to it. Very few people bother. It takes a while to get it set up to work correctly, but it can be done. The Square Deal is like the 650 in that it auto indexes, but it's like the 550 in that no case feeder. So you have to manually put a bullet on and manually put a case on, but it auto indexes. Another drawback, if you see it this way, is it only does pistol, and it uses its own proprietary dies.
Yeah, they're like these little weird little ones, but it's really compact. Like if you look at the whole press, it's like tiny
press, super smooth, super reliable. The pain in the butt about the 650 is every time you turn the handle or crank the handle, it'll spit out a primer. There's nothing you do about that. That's not true. There's a hack where you can put a piece of wire and hook the arm over, and it will hold the arm back and it won't spit out new primers. But that's like a hack job. There's like some guy literally selling you bent pieces of wire on eBay, calling them press upgrades. Like, it's ridiculous. Any twit with a pair of those pliers can bend a coat hanger and make this hack. Anyway, the 550, the Square Deal doesn't do that. The Square Deal will not spit out a primer until it's time to seat the primer. So that, to me, is a huge advantage. So yeah, small, compact, inexpensive. Brand new, I think it's $500. You can put a strong mount on it. You can put a bullet tray on it, and it's got a tray that'll catch your finished rounds of ammunition. This press is still in the box. He told me he only loaded 4,000 rounds on it. Captain Andy looked it over. He went to pick it up for me last night. I got it for $375.
Nice.
Boom.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Great
Seriously.
little presses, and you can set it up. It'll be your permanent 9mm press.
You
or
got
40
it.
cal or whatever, right?
Yeah, it's coming set up for 9, and that's all. That's it. That's my 9mm press, because I load a lot of 9, because now that's primarily the caliber I shoot in competition, whether it be PCC or classic. So rather than tearing apart my 650 all the time,
Just
I
leave
also yeah.
Mhm.
So like to buy a caliber conversion kit for the 650 with the quick change tool head right now is almost $500. So I got a whole press with a caliber ready to go for $375. Like win.
Yep.
So that being said, I did buy a 45 ACP. It's actually the one that I used to own. I sold it to Dave. I'm buying it back from Dave, and I'll sell off my caliber conversion kit for the 650 for 9. I'll sell off my Dillon dies for 9, and I was going to buy a 308 caliber conversion kit. But the 308 caliber conversion kit and the 45 are almost identical. It's the same tray that slides the brass from the case feeder onto the shell plate. It's the same shell plate. It's the same locator buttons. All I need is a piece of plastic at the top, and maybe I just literally need like one piece of plastic to hook up to the case feeder to dump those 308 cases in. Because now that I've got 3 semi-automatics in 308, I'm going to be processing a lot of brass through my RCBS small base X die, and the best way to do that's on the Dillon. So that 45 caliber conversion kit will double as a 308 caliber conversion kit. So that's it. How's about you, Adriel?
What load did you say you were running with that was it a 332 or 335 that you were running?
H335. I upped it from 24 grains to 26.
Yeah.
Not finding it there, right?
No, it was in there.
Oh, was it? Which manual?
Lee.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was in the Lee. And was that the max?
I was just looking at the 23. The 53 grain bullets, and there was that was the max.
Okay, because this is 55, so it would be a little less than 53.
Yeah, cool stuff.
Yeah, well, if you have a time later, take a picture of that page for me, please.
Yep. Just
All
to
right.
remind me. Let's see. Last weekend, I went on a bit of a tear. It was.
Yeah.
We have had the worst weather here in years.
It's been stupid cold, eh?
January, February. Like, I will go out to the range in -15, and there hasn't been a weekend. There hasn't been a weekend where it's been -15 for December, maybe.
Haven't you routinely been getting colder than -30?
Yeah, with wind chill. This weekend's gonna be the same thing. Today it's a gorgeous -10 outside, shorts and t-shirt weather. But by the weekend, it's gonna be -20 again with wind chill, -30.
I'm going shooting on Saturday with Filthy and Larry and the guys and Mini Me, and they're calling for -1.
Oh, yeah, I'd be out there in sandals, and I'd be out there.
Shorts and a t-shirt.
No such. Yep. So I was housebound on the weekend, and instead I wrote an article and did like 5 videos. Did a video on like a whole bunch of stuff.
I watched them all. They were really, really good videos.
They're
great.
Quick. Had my boys help with the videography, and
You did a good job.
Cranked them out. Let's see here. My SK standard showed up, so this is there's one box. There's many more like it. I got 2,000 rounds of it.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask. How much did you get? Just the one box?
2,000 rounds.
2,000?
Yeah.
So that's the one you're going to be using for this CRPS, right?
Oh, maybe, I don't know. Like, this is definitely the best shooting stuff in my 522. And if I get to doing some precision stuff, if I want to go to shoot a silhouette match, heck yeah, 522 and some SK standard. That's the way to roll. But I might try some HV, high velocity ammo. Yep. CCI has one called a Velocitor that's 1450 feet per second, which is spicy. And that, if you get decent accuracy out of that thing, that's a lot less drop to account for. So you might be able to go further out with less adjustment, or just go further out, right?
Right.
So I was thinking about that. Yeah.
You gonna go test it?
I just need some beautiful weather, and
you just need -10 as opposed to -30.
Yeah, because I want to ideally. So that got me along the train of like, oh, maybe I should just do like a gigantic 22 accuracy test with like some common stuff and a whole bunch of other stuff. So that's what I'm going to do. is a gigantic 22 LR ammo accuracy test. I was hoping to do it last weekend. It was too cold. I took my pictures for Instagram and everything with my ammo tin full of like 16 different kinds of 22 ammo. Can't go. But that was actually a good thing because Tommy, Mr. Uzi, he saw that post and he's like, "Oh, I got a whole bunch of different stuff that you can try." So now he's gonna load me up. He said it's because he prefers me as the host, as one of the hosts for Slamfire. That's
of course, yeah. No, I believe it. Yeah, you're Tommy's favorite. Yeah,
I would believe that as well.
Yeah, that's why Tommy was just telling me, what kind of scotch do you like? Because I'm going to bring you a bottle of the charity shoot. Yeah, that's his favorite.
Charity shoot? That's awesome.
He offered me some beer, but I'm not drinking this year, so I didn't come up on it.
He's providing you with some ammo, right?
Yeah.
Not guns.
No, I've got 3 guns sitting right next to me that I wouldn't mind testing out, and I got another one that I wouldn't mind testing out. So I'm all good with guns. Actually, my buddy Will, he got a Ruger Precision Rimfire, so I wouldn't mind testing the Ruger Precision Rimfire, the 5.22, and maybe the Marlin 795 on some of this stuff. But it depends on how much time I got, because as I stand right now, I've got about 1,000 rounds I have to go through. Right. Just for the accuracy testing I'm talking about. And this, like whatever Tommy's got plus whatever else I find in the meantime, is just going to add to it. So I'll probably be somewhere around like 1,500 to 2,000 rounds that I'll need to go through.
So what do you have set up right now for the CRPS match?
Well, let me pull some stuff out.
Okay.
Make it guns, please.
Yeah. Here. Okay, so this is what I'm going to run.
Oh, that's a nice Slamfire patch, by the way.
Oh, I should mail some out to you guys, hey?
Wow, man. Where'd you get that? I didn't even know we had those until Captain Andy was bragging.
Trevor, do you know that people who listen to the show have this, and we don't have these yet?
We care about our Patreonies so much.
Yeah.
We got new shotguns coming, so...
That's true. Boom.
Don't matter, no. Yeah. And when I get it, I'm going to stick my patch on it.
What do you mean we're not Patreonies? Yeah, I'm a Patreonie.
Oh, yeah.
Used to be.
Oh,
yeah.
So everybody.
I'll send you guys some sticks. What did I do? Okay, so this base here is a 0 MOA base that I modified. What I did was I cut some material off the front to get it to sit a little bit lower than the back.
Did you short sheet it?
Huh?
Short sheet it.
What's
cut from the back and move to the front.
I made the I made the dovetail part there sit lower. Yeah, so I got in there with a file and some calipers, and I worked as a machinist for like a year, so I can do a little bit. And I modified it. It was actually kind of a pain in the butt because this is like a rounded receiver here, so there's only so much down you can get before you start cutting into the top of this thing. Anyways, I got 30 MOA on this thing now, and that should get me way out because this has got, there's 30, there's 40 on the adjustment, and then there's another 20 on the reticle, so I should be able to get pretty far out.
What is that on there?
The scope is a Citron 6-24.
Okay.
Yeah.
Citron. Never heard of her.
Great scope. I love this. It's an expensive scope, but
you're not. Yeah. So you have a
$200 rifle with a $1,200 scope on top. Yes.
But that's living proper. That's how you're supposed to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, Adriel, I love you. You know that.
And then, so then I put a $10 cheek rest on it. So I need a cheek rest because you take a look at the base and the rings, and like I'm pretty far up off the rail now. So I needed a cheek rest. I popped this guy on here. I did a little video of sticking it on there. Yeah. I've got a good. This is actually an adjustable cheek rest, so you can crack it open, change the amount of foam that's in the back there, and kind of get her on and get her all laced up. So yeah.
Okay. If people are wanting to know about cheek rests, we on Maple Seed, I believe that we have some videos on it as well.
Awesome.
I'll bring it up. So Kydex.
Oh yeah, my buddy's getting into Kydex, so I might make one of those adjustable Kydex risers, kind of a thing. But I just wanted like $10 from eBay. This is easy.
You don't want to ruin that stock at all.
I will ruin that stock. I don't give any care about a Nork stock.
I was kidding.
That's the best Chinesium wood there is.
It's a nice rifle.
It's better than a lot of the Chinesium wood, but that's still Chinesium wood.
Still Chinesium.
And then I set up this rifle. I don't know if cars if my son's going to get into it, but maybe. I set this one up for him. So this is Marlin 795 with a cheek rest on it as well. And I swapped my other rings to this guy so that this one now also has some cant to it.
Oh,
and
you just took the sights off. I was going to say, is that some kind of heavy barrel? But I see you drifted off the rear sight. Was there a front sight?
Yep, there was. Not anymore.
Looks great.
Mm-hmm. It's just a Marlin 795. This is the Cabela's Covenant 4 to 16. Cabela's had these on sale for $199.
No way.
And they've got like a Christmas tree reticle in there, decent, like nicely clicky turrets on it. So I had to.
Perfect.
Yep,
it's perfect for him. Yep.
And then I think I'm just going to review this one and then just kind of have it handy. But I got this Scorpio all scoped up and sight removed and everything. They had this crazy thing going on with the rear sight. It looks like so much work. Like so you saw last time I was showing you guys the rear sight. Yeah. I actually saw it was underneath it, and it's this like crazy machined in sight bridge kind of thing that they got there. Yeah. It must be something that they do with their Olympic rifles or something else, because there's no reason. I can't think of a reason why they do that just for fun, because it looks like a lot of work.
It does. It looks like a lot of effort for a 22 barrel.
Yeah, for a cheap 22 barrel.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Freedom Ventures popped some stuff in the mail for me. I've got a couple patch guns for 3-gun club coming, sights for my GSG 1911-22, and sights for my Nork NP29, just the front sight. So that should be fun. If it's like super cold this weekend, instead of like sticking it out and trying to go through 1,000 rounds and accuracy test 1,000 rounds, I'm going to take my Shadow and go to Pistol League night at Phoenix. And my BCL 102 still isn't running.
Serious?
Still not running. They haven't replied to any of my emails since December.
Okay.
For the love of God.
Bolt was supposed to be in the mail in December. Didn't get here.
You got a telephone number?
Maybe I'll call him. Yeah.
Yeah, send me something.
Yeah.
I probably
still not working. Still just sitting in my safe.
Did you get? I thought you gave up on them and ordered a bolt from somebody else.
No, I was going to get I need an ejector spring. I need an ejector and an ejector spring, and this thing's going to be fine. Right. But try finding someone in Canada that has just the ejector spring. Now, after talking to Mark, I was thinking like, I got to talk to this guy about an ejector spring, because if he has a bunch of AR-15 parts, maybe he's got AR-10. Arms East carrying AR-10 parts. Oh, maybe, yeah. Yeah, it's such a small part. I was kind of hoping to do like a combo deal and like buy from someone and buy a couple.
What's the warranty on this gun?
Lifetime.
Yeah, lifetime
warranty. Yeah,
and they can't email you back since December.
Yeah.
You know what? A tiger can't change its stripes.
Yeah. Anyways,
right.
Yeah. So still waiting to do some stuff on that, and it'd be nice if I could do something with the gun I bought in November. But
what did Shakespeare say? A rose by any other name would still smell like shit. I think that
was
the quote.
Something like that.
No, I'm pretty sure that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, that's what's up with me.
Cool.
Mine's very short compared to Trevor's.
I hear that a lot, especially from women.
Yeah. Calendar. Make sure you register your calendar, because tomorrow is a new month and there's going to be a new
good it did me.
Hey, there's 12 more months.
12 more. Wow, what a long year.
10 more. Well, no, 13, subtract 2, 11 more months. Okay.
13?
Yeah, because December, right? All right. There's
2 Decembers in a year.
There's
2 Decembers in a calendar year.
There was 2 Decembers in that
calendar. From
Christmas.
Christmas gives you an extra December. Yeah.
Right. So 10 more months. Whatever. Register it. There's another draw tomorrow. Or the next day. Whenever Tracy gets back from... Well, tonight's actually town hall, so whenever she gets back from that.
Oh, she's away.
So the Mark Holland one in Ajax. I'm excited about that. I want to see what the feedback. I decided to come on this show as opposed to going to some other things, because I could have been in Ajax, or I could have been at a baby shower.
Who could blame you? Instead, you came here and you got a free shotgun.
I know. It was
right?
Yeah, it's awesome.
I can't believe you had the balls to ask, and I'm glad you did. So, Mark, how about some free shotguns? And he's like, okay. He's like Oprah over there, and you get a shotgun, and you get a shotgun, and Matthew,
You're
don't
ruining the
stay home.
surprise. This comes out later in the show, Trevor. Come on.
Sorry.
All right.
I forgot about the magic of editing.
Mm.
Cut
We're
that
not
out then.
editing.
I'm not
No.
doing that. I'm way too lazy to cut. Come on.
All right. Well, I
Yeah.
ruined the surprise.
So going back to that, you guys just pretend you didn't hear that. Just register your calendar because in the next day or two, it's a new month. We're going to have, I don't know, maybe you win a shotgun. I don't know. SFRC, I went there on Saturday, picked up an AR gas tube. It's not for me. It's for Kevin. He's building a new one for our known distance for Maple Seed.
Oh, cool.
We're going to be having those. That's the next. So, yeah. So I picked up that. They had them. And also this week, nothing else. I didn't actually get to the range. Hopefully I'll do that this week because I'm actually going to a range. I'll get to shoot maybe. Lots of Maple Seed prep. That's it. It's going to be really, really good season. We've already booked hotels. We've already booked campgrounds, things.
You got things, paperwork signed.
We got paperwork signed. We have IITs that are going to be traveling with us. It's going to be a great season.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm very, very excited about it. So when we were talking to Caliber Magazine, they were saying that we're going to double last year. I'm actually predicting that might come true. So it's gonna
You guys are nuts.
It's
That's
going to
so
be
much work.
Busy season. Quite honestly, our IITs are going to be fantastic this year. They were last year, but a lot of them are saying already that they're going to be with us for a majority of the trips out west and out east. And so that takes a lot off of our plate to thank them. So if they're listening, thank you. All right, that's it. I didn't do anything else because I've been busy with that. Let's talk about upcoming events. Do you, Adriel, do you want to talk about the CRPS events?
ORPS. ORPS has a couple
it's
of events coming up.
ORPS,
Mhm.
but okay, CRPS as well, because I know that you're going to be doing one at your range too.
Yeah, there's going to be one of those at Chaz. Yeah, if you want to join that one, there's going to be an CRPS at Chaz.
Yes.
But ORPS has two of them, and they just opened those, and they're going to be doing one in Lethbridge, and Alberta, and one in Stittsville, Ontario.
Correct.
And I'd like to get to the Alberta one, but that's the same day as the 3-gun match for Chaz, so I'll probably shoot 3-gun.
Probably not going to be doing that then.
Yeah.
One of the things that you did for everybody was you posted it on our Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
They want to order the package. That was awesome. I see a lot of people are interested.
Well, like if you want something fun to do, you could do this in your backyard. It's $300. You could get all the steel and the props. You could have a match in your backyard if you're on an acreage or something like that, and you could see how you compare nationally.
Yep. Yeah. That's exactly it. You can compare yourself against Trevor. Right?
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Action Rifle Rimfire had 2 events, but they're both like completely sold out.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Why don't we move on to the news? C-71 Senate hearings. So yeah. How was that?
I watched a couple of them.
On Monday, right?
I watched a couple of them. I watched Dave Partnan's. I watched some of the industry ones, Wolverine Supplies, the CSSA, which the ones with lots of S's in it. That's
SSA?
Yeah, that one.
AAA.
Yes.
That one.
Oh, that one.
Lots of A's. Yeah. Yeah, that's the one. The Industry Association one.
Yeah,
and
for
she
the
was sharp.
Yeah.
Holy, she was sharp. Yeah. Really eloquent, really like, hey, this is exactly the impact to the business that we're seeing.
Excellent
testimony.
Yeah, but let's talk about that for a second. Sorry, Kelly.
Okay, sorry.
The CSAAA, for the listeners who don't know, is like a pro-gun org, but directly for the industry side.
Right.
You have to be involved in business. You have to own a gun shop or be a distributor, something like that, to be a member of the CSAAA. And you can rest assured that the government listens to them because they are the ones that can talk specifically about the financial impact and the impact on the economy. When they start cutting guns, you start cutting jobs. And you start cutting jobs, you start cutting taxes or tax revenue. So it was awesome, Adriel, to hear that their spokesman was on the ball.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she was on the ball. They had Gary Mauser, a bunch of other guys come out there.
What
they're
did Gary Mauser do with a picture of a moose that's turning into like the best meme ever?
He held up a picture of a moose and he said there was more people killed by moose last year than there were by licensed gun owners. And he said, and the moose is not licensed. It was awesome.
Oh, I love that, man.
The other piece that was quite cool was the fact that he didn't have his hearing on, so he couldn't hear what people were saying. So he was just, they'd ask him a question, he's going, I didn't hear what they said. It was awesome. So he had his facts, and his facts were, he was articulate. He is somebody who is a professor. He is able to spiel off this stuff, and it was quite good. But he held up this picture of a moose saying that this moose killed more people last year than licensed gun owners, and this moose isn't licensed.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's good. It reminds me of when somebody said recently that the government's attacking the gun lobby, but they fail to they neglect to remember. They're failing to remember or mention that they licensed that gun lobby. The gun lobby that they're picking on, they deem to be some of the most law-abiding citizens in the land. So
they
don't
all
pick on
had
us.
Get by their filters,
right? Don't criticize the gun lobby. You approved us. You licensed us. You created us.
Yep. All right. So we're gonna anything else with respect to C-71 Senate hearings? There's going to be more, by the way, but. I
don't know that the C-71 is going to get it. Like, maybe it's not going to get anywhere. Maybe we were worried about some additional legislation that might be coming down the road here because
distraction.
Yeah, two ways this could go about. So the Liberal Party, I think they're screwed. They basically openly admitted to influencing the Justice. What's her name again?
Jody Wilson.
Raybould.
Yeah.
Trying to influence her to let SNC Lavalin off the hook for doing all sorts of
deferred
crazy
prosecution agreement.
What
they were after.
Getting prostitutes for the Gaddafi sons
only for $30,000. Stop exaggerating.
Yeah, in exchange for construction projects. So clearly there's some top level corruption going on here, and they're like, whoa, Canadian jobs. That's their excuse.
And that's not their excuse. The Prime Minister said that. The Prime Minister alluded to the fact that spending $30,000 on prostitutes was good for job creation in the economy.
Well, it is. Prostitutes.
So I don't care about this fact other than the fact that this should put this to bed, and it should keep the anti-gun law off our backs for a while.
Well, that's just it. This is like a wag the dog operation. The more they talk about this, the less they talk about C-71. So are they going to double down on the gun portfolio?
Maybe, but they'll lose in October anyways, right?
That's what so there's a whole bunch of things that can happen, right? They've already asked for Trudeau's resignation, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think that, and they're not going to call for
his
an
party
early election
didn't.
As well.
Scheer did, and that doesn't mean squat.
Right.
When his party says, but is it such a thing in Parliament at the federal level to have a no confidence vote? Is that a thing that exists? Can
Absolutely.
we do that?
Yeah.
Really?
You need a majority.
Yes.
Oh, well, then the only people who could call for it would be his own party.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're not a political podcast, but we got to talk about it.
Those bootlickers toe the party line so hard that no one would ever.
Okay.
They all do.
Anywho,
fantastic news for gunners because it should it'll either mean they lay off for a while or they double down and they run for it as a platform promise in October, and they get whomped anyways because of this this year.
It was a mess last night for the Liberals.
But fantastic news for us because they've been going down this path of getting testimony from people to prove their point, and I don't think it was going to be a legitimate data gathering kind of a activity. They were just looking to get enough proof to put the laws in that they've wanted to, and they've run in the past on handgun bans and all semi-auto bans federally, and I'm glad to see get their butt kicked because it means that they'll be off our backs for a while.
Yep, the doctors are pooping their pants right now. I'm sorry. Had to
Hope
say
so.
it.
But so I know we're not a political show, but you know what?
Yeah.
You can't separate the two, and I know our listeners are interested in this topic. So, question:
Okay.
the Liberals did not have to let her speak. They could have maintained their client privilege confidentiality because she was the government's lawyer. They literally signed a waiver to let her speak about this. Why? If you're the
Because
Liberals, why?
people knew
pressure on.
exactly what happened.
Yeah.
She just said what everyone knew happened, right?
There was pressure there, and people were resigning anyway. So because of the
One guy.
people resigning, right? So there was pressure. There was pressure on the prime minister, and he has always had that platform of, I'm going to make sure that everything is.
So, Kelly, would you say that this was a damned if you do, damned if you don't?
Yep.
If we don't let her talk, we look bad. If we let her talk, she tells the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And within half an hour, she said that she did have a meeting with
I heard it.
Trudeau, and he actually did say something. So
she said in her testimony that I literally looked him right in the eye and said, "Are you interfering politically with my job?"
Right.
Oh, no, that's not what I'm saying. But there is an election, and it is in my riding. Like, he puts Quebec
it's in
first.
his riding.
Yep.
So what about everybody in Alberta? That's economy's gone to crap.
Yep. He's only concerned about Quebec jobs because he's a Quebecer. It's in his riding. He's from Montreal. That's all he's concerned about. We've suspected that there's a video that you can go look up right now of him saying that Quebecers are better than other Canadians. He has said it. It lives in infamy on the internet forever. He's got this ugly little pinch goatee. He looks ridiculous. He looks the part of his substitute drama teacher job that he should go back to. Only I don't want to subject children to this man. It's out there. It's out there. Him saying Quebecers are better than the rest of Canadians, and then here he is, basically showing that he's really concerned about the jobs in Quebec and nowhere else. If he was concerned about the jobs elsewhere and truly concerned about all Canadians, he would put pressure on to get a pipeline built, a pipeline that someone else was willing to pay for, but instead he wasted money on not having it built, a pipeline that would help all of Canada, but instead he's trying to help a crooked Quebec company.
No, what he's trying. No,
we're good. We're good for politics.
No, I just have to say something.
Okay, go ahead.
No, what he's doing is he's trying to win votes in Quebec so that he can continue to have a majority government. That's what he's trying to do.
Well, that's all they ever try to do is
straight up
continue to be reelected. But anyway,
okay, let's move on to new gun stuff. We're good, right? We don't want to talk about it.
You're leading the way.
Okay.
If you say we're moving on, we're moving on. Maybe you'll try it unsuccessfully, but maybe you can do it.
I needed to say that one last thing. It's my prerogative. It's my show. Okay. Yep. Okay, new gun stuff. Why don't you start?
If you're looking for a WK, Frontier has 20 of them coming. So jump the queue. Okay. Don't wait.
Do it. It's a good gun.
I Run Guns is bringing in the RIA, so the Rock Island Armory FS 1911, $450 US.
Okay.
It's 1911.
No. Yeah. For $450.
I'm not super interested in those. Now, Rock Island Armory also makes a Para knockoff double stack 9mm that's supposed to be an excellent 3-gun pistol that's very common in the US. I was listening to the 3-gun show, and they had Hayes Custom Guns. Hayes Custom Guns, they have 2 guns that they'll make. They have a 2011 based one, and they have an Armscore RIA based one. And that one is like an RIA that's just tweaked. And that's like their base, inexpensive way to get a race gun for 3-gunning, right? And comes with a mag well, a couple of other things, right? So interesting. I actually asked them on CGN, like, hey, you're going to bring in the, what's their other one? HSTS or something like that. I'm not going to buy one myself, but interesting anyways.
Okay. What about the next one? They are also bringing in the Hunters as well?
Yeah, the RFB Hunters for $12.99 US. So those have been quite a bit more expensive in the past. I seem to remember the RFBs being right around $2,500. Trevor, can you correct me on that? Does that sound right? I thought they used to be like a lot more expensive. They're bringing them in for $12.99 US.
No, because they're about 15 Canadian.
You're thinking of the the 223 version, which is what's the other one? Something else, not the RFB. This is different. This is the forward ejecting one The RDB is the one you're thinking of. The RDB is the 223 one that ejects downwards. This one
Or out
is
the front. No, I'm thinking about the one. The 308 came out the front.
Yeah.
The 223 came out the back like KSG.
Yeah. 223 drops them into your front pocket. This one, they go scooching out the front. Anyways.
You know what, dude? You lost me at Keltec. So when you asked me about price differences, I was just making stuff up.
So they dropped it at $1,000.
They're getting cheaper. Yeah.
Well, why are they dropping it by half price?
Well, they're facing a lot of competition. Like MDR is going to get their stuff sorted out here and start getting their stuff out soon. So
still,
they'll face more competition. Yeah.
Okay. What's next?
Yeah. Finally, there's a new Citron S-TAC 420 with zero stop and illumination. Mine's one of the older versions. No zero stop on mine. No illumination either. But coming.
Why don't we go on to the main topic?
Joining us this week for our main topic, we have Mark and maybe a few others. But for now, Mark from Trigger Wholesale Sports. Mark, welcome to Slamfire Radio.
Hey guys, thanks very much for having me on the show.
It really is our pleasure. So, Mark, you and I kind of hooked up through Instagram and set this thing up after you guys were gracious enough to send some swag my way from Trigger Wholesale Sports, which was greatly appreciated. And we decided we get together and let the listeners know all about Trigger Wholesale Sports. You're very active. It's big business. You support a lot of dealers. But for the listeners out there who maybe aren't fully aware of the extent of Trigger Wholesale Sports, why don't you bring everyone up to date on the who, what, when, where about Trigger Wholesale Sports? So maybe, when did you guys get started and what is it that you do over there?
Well, it has been a very, very lengthy time in the firearms industry. Trigger Wholesale just celebrated its 10th anniversary in January.
Nice.
So the running joke in my family was that I was retiring into the gun business, and I can honestly tell you I've never had to work harder than what's transpired over the last 10 years. But in those 10 years, we went from really a nobody in the industry. We weren't all of us, or most of us who work here on the executive team. We were all former cellular guys actually working at Research in Motion here in Waterloo, Ontario. So we took the principles of distribution that we learned at that company and brought it over here. And the unique tie over was that one of RIM's sprint partners was actually one of the world's largest transshippers of firearms with Interarms. And myself and Phil Searles, who's vice president of the company here, would go to the Consumer Electronics Show on behalf of Research in Motion. And as that show was ending, the SHOT Show was always starting. So we found ourselves. Yeah, so we ended up finding ourselves at a dinner table with the owner of Colt USA and some guys from Bursa Eagle Imports and a variety of other companies. And as BlackBerry was kind of coming down, we ended up saying, who's doing this in Canada for you? And the response was, you've made us money in the cell phone industry, so the crossover should be simple. But Canada was somewhat of an afterthought for them. So it took about 2 years and $200,000 to get all the licenses that we have.
Is that all?
And yeah, nothing too strenuous about that.
No.
And by the time we got the licenses, we trickled into distribution, and we've never owned or operated any retail space. We've always been a pure distributor. But as we, you start a business and you think, oh, you know what, maybe I'll approach Ruger, maybe I'll approach one of these brands, and you go and speak to them, and then you realize there's no way we can afford these minimums. If you want to get 20,000 1022s, they wanted us to buy 6,000 Ruger handguns. So we were immediately knocked out of that market and taken down a couple of pegs. So for us, what's been the interesting climb over the last 10 years is we realized that we had to start with maybe brands that were lesser known and create a brand story and evangelize it. And the funny thing is, 10 years later, we're going through our booking season right now. Everybody in the industry is coming to us saying, I know what Remington's doing. I know what Mossberg is doing. What do you have? Because I know you always bring the new products to the market. So what started off as maybe a negative, having a brand that you have to really push into the stores hard, is now a positive in the sense that people look at us as an innovative company. And over the 10 years, I can remember years of wanting just to do $1 million in sales, now we're in the tens of millions and supporting over 1,000 retail stores.
Amazing.
So it's come a long way, and we recently came off the CSAAA shows in Ottawa and Calgary, and the interesting part for us was, the feedback. We have a SHOT Show quality trade show booth that we brought to these events, and the people who have been coming to these events year after year after year have seen us grow from a table and a tablecloth to now, $150,000 booth displaying more firearms than the entire rest of the show. So we took some other principles from, the cell phone industry where you were fighting for inches, and we've started to deploy these strategies into the independent dealer and retail space in Canada with standees and fighting for mind share and advanced training and things like that. So it's really resonated with the market and kind of changed the way things are being done. So it kind of gives you a just about Trigger Wholesale and, where we sit today, a slightly difficult market with the current government in Canada not being exactly pro firearm. We're at kind of the entry stages of building what we feel will be one of the most advanced facilities in not only Canada, but in the world. We're putting up 50,000 square feet of warehousing that will also hold a multi-lane 100-yard indoor range, a 1 kilometer long outdoor range, and one of the most advanced trap pitches in the world.
Yeah.
And that's just outside the city limits of Waterloo, Ontario. So
Nelly.
No commitment there. I've got a multi-million-dollar construction bill that I have to swallow over the next couple of years.
Wow.
Any pushback from the community on that?
We've got 3 facilities in town, and they are not well marked. And I would say that we quietly exist here.
Yeah.
That said, we have the attention of the city. In the early days, I actually, believe it or not, got kicked out of Waterloo because what most people may not know, because it wasn't super publicized, was that Waterloo, Ontario had the Ontario Glove shooting incident years before I was in the firearms industry. So they were absolutely not pro-gun. And the funny tie-in to Research in Motion, as Research in Motion started to fail and vacate buildings, they welcomed us back with open arms because they needed to fill that void. Since then, it took a multi-billion-dollar failure to get us back into town. But since then, Kitchener was very pro-gun because they had Colt Canada and Damaco.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, when Waterloo kicked me out, in 4 hours, I had permits from the city. And then, as we kind of advanced our business, we got invited back to Waterloo, and some of the representation of the city actually helped us find the existing building that we're officed in today. So it's actually been fairly easy. The CFO's office has been very cooperative. We're very tied into the RCMP organization and even Global Affairs Canada. So we have some of the MPs coming here in just a few weeks. So from that perspective, they've been very happy. Because we don't sell retail, we are a little bit out of the public eye.
So I imagine your main facility is just from the outside. It doesn't scream we're a firearms wholesaler. It just looks like a regular, nondescript, low-key warehouse type building.
Yes, it is. There's actually no signage. Some of the advanced fences and things like that, and the wide range of cameras may tip somebody off that something's in the building.
Yeah.
But we have one of the fastest alarm response times in the entire city, under 3 minutes. And
wow.
The security
Nice.
system here is incredibly advanced.
Yeah. Oh, I was at North Silva once, and you don't know you're going to North Silva until you step inside.
Yes. Yeah, and that's the way they prefer it. It's somewhat discreet.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. So
yeah. And the new facility boasts even more advanced technology with vibration sensors in the ground, 24-hour guard service. And, just because the amount of firearms that we're keeping is going up and up and up. At this point today, there's probably 35,000 firearms back there.
Wow.
But they're constantly cycling through, and it's pretty constant, about every 30 to 35 days.
So let's talk a little bit about some of the product lines that make up that 35,000. The listeners can go to your website, and they may be confused at first by seeing MSRP prices, but now they'll understand, oh, I get it. Okay. They're not selling retail off their website. And the product lines that you carry are there. But in the meantime, let's talk about some of them. What are some of the the brands that you're carrying that nobody else is carrying, let's say?
Well, from Turkey, some of the premier products that we would have are going to be the F12 Typhoon, which you're familiar with, and it's very popular on the global competition scene. We have bullpups like the FD12 and the Ranger bullpups, which were some of the first. They are the first two Turkish bullpups approved for commercial resale in Canada.
Amazing.
And those are the types of products where we can control the entire brand messaging and brand story, and it's great for the retailer, it's great for the consumer. But then we have mainstream.
For some of the F12 owners, just because this is probably not the 100th time you've heard it, probably the 99th time you've heard it. Are you bringing any AS46 mags in?
Oh, stop!
Boy, nobody's asked me that today.
Yeah.
It's a unique thing. The AS46 pump action, spring assisted pump action shotgun sold very, very well in Canada. Several thousand pieces.
Yeah,
the AS46 magazines are, I would liken them to a LAR-15 pistol magazine for the ARs. The magazine sales grossly outsell the firearm.
That's strange. That's
like to have a lot of mags each. Yeah.
It's a weird phenomenon.
The vast number of people posting images and things like that has garnered the attention. We noticed at the CSAAA events that the RCMP FRT lab was out, Global Affairs Canada, and even some of the NWest and East team who tracks all of the firearms in Canada and major incidents. We had a conversation about it, and I am seeking a written authorization to continue to sell those magazines. Right now, it is definitely not a no.
Okay.
So that's a positive. They're merely going, and because we have a very large volume of them, and I said, what would you like me to do? I said, I would feel more comfortable if you gave me a written authorization to make sure that nobody's going to have a problem with these things. And, that's what they've agreed to do. So
wonderful. They've agreed to do it. Because if you look at Special Bulletin 72 for businesses, it's not even anywhere on their radar. They talk about using a pistol magazine and a rifle, but shotgun never comes up.
Because it's really, this is a function of so many AR style firearms coming out of Turkey now.
Yep.
And a lot of the world's shotgun market is driven by Turkey. And we travel the world. I'm leaving for Germany for IWA next week. And all of the innovation in the industry is coming out of Turkey. It's quite shocking.
It is. If you watch IPSC shotgun videos from Europe, it's all Turkish shotguns. It's the Mark 12 and the Typhoon. And for a while, the Typhoon was leaving the Mark 12 in the dust. You could buy the Typhoon, and it had literally hundreds of dollars of accessories extra in the case with the gun. Not only did you get an amazing shotgun with amazing features, it came with a pile of extra accessories. 2 sets of sights, for crying out loud. Multiple chokes, and like 5, 2 different muzzle devices, just the list goes on. Sling, just amazing. But now I see Daria is coming out with something to try and keep up, which is also kind of interesting. But
well, you know what they say, innovation or imitation is the greatest form of flattery. The F12 is the originator of that style of firearm. We actually saw it at IWA in 2015. And what's exciting about the program today is in the last 3 weeks, we've actually converted all of the F12s to mobile choke. We've advanced the foregrip and bipod to a much more aggressive and much stronger design. We've made every single one of the guns ambidextrous fire selector.
Yeah.
Every single gun now comes with the competition magwell.
Yeah. Every
single one of them. So through last year, we had different promotions where if you
that's
bought
how I
it
got
this
my
time, you could
magwell.
get the magwell, you can get the bad lever. Now every single gun comes with every single one of those features to make it fully ambidextrous.
So my Puma just became my backup.
It may have. That's what I was going to tell you. I actually have a barrel conversion for you to bring you to mobile choke.
Oh my God. I'm so excited.
In 3 weeks, I'll actually have, we have another shipment. We'll be up to 38 different colors in stock.
Wow.
With that barrel and the mobile choke, can you run a compensator and still have chokes?
Absolutely. I even have
all the 3-gun guys want one of those then.
And an extended choke wrench, so you don't have to remove the brake to change chokes.
Oh, you gotta just sell that barrel and like 3 or 4 chokes and that barrel wrench, and you'll sell a pile of them to all the 3-gun open
You're
guys.
changing the game.
Yep.
Yes,
I know that's a phrase that's tossed around a lot, that this is a game changer. In Canadian 3-gun, this is a game changer.
Yep.
Yes, and we're only 3 weeks away from it. It's we even have in the next shipment magazine loading tools to help you load your magazine faster.
Oh, I got a guy for that.
So is this the big announcement you were going to make at the...
I think the new facility is...
The new facility is our investment into the industry. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And, the number of products, I can tell you, I have 40 different firearms in FRT just in the shotgun category.
Wow.
What?
40. I've done over 2,000 in the 10 years I've been in the business.
Oh, wow. Mark.
So I have some stuff that will absolutely blow people's minds. One of the things we become very, very technical at is altering the design of a firearm to comply with Canada's laws. And when I was in Ottawa at the CSAAA event, I'm not sure that they meant it as a compliment, but I took it as one. They said, you have found more than anyone we've met the way to construct a firearm to absolutely meet our laws, but garner the displeasure of the people approving them, but not give them the ammunition to stop the FRT classification to non-restricted.
That is probably the best compliment you've ever been paid by anyone ever.
Well, it's certainly paid off in sales, and being the first to get these bullpups to the market, we've sold thousands of them already. The FD12 has a very advanced kit, and even comes with barrel extensions.
Yep.
So, and barrel extensions are something we're now going to offer for the F12 platform as well. And the other exciting thing you may like on the F12 is that I have 20, 22, 24, and 26-inch barrels in stock as well.
Oh, man. That is awesome. It just keeps making the platform more and more versatile.
So that's been one of our hallmark products out of Turkey. We kind of own the Turkish single shot market. We're selling, tens of thousands per year in Canada. And then when you go to an AR brand, the Armalite has done incredibly well for us. And we're just on the cusp of doing another big importation of the AR-50s and even some Surgeon and Macmillan product as well.
Oh, wow.
Some TAC 50s.
Oh.
Amazing.
So, and then, we've got one of Canada's largest orders ever of Desert Eagle and the big frame revolvers and auto ordnance coming in approximately 10 to 15 days. And then you'll see a series of other launches for us as well. And the funny thing is, you had mentioned our website. The website that you see today is actually being taken down. It's actually supposed to be down already.
Oops.
And we are launching a new, much more advanced website where we've had professional photographers come in. We're working with Canadian Gun Vault to do unboxing videos. Yes. So you'll no longer just have to look at the images that we put up there. You'll be able to see a video on every single product that we have that will show the unboxing and what comes for kit contents and make it easier for the consumer.
Very cool.
And then dealers will have full access to live inventory and the hosting of all of their previous purchases.
Oh, wow. So, yeah. The Canadian Gun Vault has been a pretty strong supporter of yours in social media for quite some time. He is always pushing the bullpup, the Typhoon, like every other day. Those keep coming up in his Instagram. He's very active.
Yes, he is. And no secret there. In Canada, you want your products pushed out there. It's a pay-to-play environment, just like advertising in one of the magazines and things like that. We have a contract for advertising with Canadian Gun Vault. Everybody in the industry is free to secure one of those themselves as well. But they've been very professional and very diligent in putting up our products and making sure they're at the forefront. It's just like in Calgary, I saw Lowell Strauss and those guys from the NFA magazine. And you want to see a couple of guys who, the thing I love about the NFA magazine and the reviews that Al Voth and Lowell Strauss do, if they don't like my gun, that's exactly what they write. They'll tell you, and it doesn't matter if I buy an advertisement in the magazine. they're still going to tell you exactly what they think. Their integrity is not for sale. And that's actually a pretty rare thing today.
Mm.
Like
No,
I can always tell who's spending advertising dollars by who's advertising.
Well, our podcast has been around for nearly a decade now, and for years we wouldn't take on sponsors because we always wanted to be able to say whatever we wanted to say about whatever we wanted to say. And the sponsors that we currently have on the show understand that and they accept that. But at the same time, I find myself censoring at least 1%, because even though they accept the fact that we claim, all creative freedom to say and do whatever we want, as soon as somebody calls them up and says, yeah, Calgary Shooting Center, you sponsor Slamfire, and they were totally dissing this or complaining about that, and I don't think you should be associated with that kind of show. That's it. We could be done, right? We
couldn't have picked a better guy in the industry. James Wyszynski is another man whose integrity is never for sale.
Yeah,
he's one of the straightest guys you'll meet in this entire industry.
Absolutely.
So,
but at the end of the day, if somebody chooses not to shop there because he sponsors us, we maintain the right to say whatever we want. Well, he also maintains the right to sponsor whoever he wants.
Yeah,
so
very, very true.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have it any other way. To be honest with you, I would rather find out from, a prototype firearm review that there's problems with a gun that I think is okay than before I do, $1 million import of it.
Heck yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you want to find out the prototype stage, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, and we've, believe it or not, the number of people in Canada, whether they're competitive shooters, dealers, who have been able to give feedback into the manufacturing sector through us and with us, has completely changed some of the products that have come to Canada, especially on the Turkish market. So it's amazing how fast those guys can turn an idea into a working product. It's fascinating.
Yeah, there's a neat video out there. I'm not sure if it's from Typhoon Defense or not, but they're interviewing a 3-gun competitor, or at least a IPSC shotgun competitor, about his Typhoon and the changes that were implemented to the platform based on his experiences during competition, and how quickly they were able to rectify over magazine insertion problem that other semi-autos haven't fixed yet. And as soon as he brought it to their attention under match conditions, this is happening. They're like, oh yeah, well, we can fix that in a weekend. Here's a new lower, right?
Yeah. And the Usman, who is the head person at Typhoon Defense, which the Turkish company is called Ozerbas Makina, he shocks us on a daily basis what he comes up with. I literally said, I need a mag loader. And he said, I designed this 6 months ago. I need a different compensator. What about one of these? I've already got them. And we're always so shocked at how quickly. We were joking that he has a camera in our office, and that's how he's getting the advanced information to come up with these drawings and designs and products. But and luckily, we'll see all of them next week in Germany.
Nice. Can you address I don't know if I should call it a myth or not, but in the firearms community, oftentimes people will say that Norinco, for example, some of their products are made in one factory and some are made in another factory, and that's why some are better than others. And a similar kind of thing that's often said is all Turkish shotguns are made in the same company and the same plant. They just put different names on them. Can you address that?
Well, I have been to Turkey in the last, I'm going to say 6 years, probably 20 times.
Jeez.
We've even been invited to the weddings of some of our vendors as well. So we're heavily entrenched in the market. I can tell you the only similarity between, say, those Asian markets and the Turkish market is that if you don't know the questions to ask or the things to require in the build, and it's going right down to the material used for the firing pin, whether you've got a welded barrel or a deep drill barrel, the receiver materials, all of those things, you will maybe see a low price, but you may not see the quality you want. And we only know this through experimentation over the years. So you have to get really, I send a purchase order to Armalite, and if there's 20 items, they can fit on one page. If I send the same order into Turkey, it could be 30 pages because I'm getting right down to the nuts and bolts, the Cerakote color, making sure that it's US made Cerakote. And I can tell you, Bayashir, Konya, Uzumlu, Huglu are the main cities for firearm production in, a more remote part of Turkey. Now, Konya is, I think, 1.3 to 1.8 million people in the city, so it's not small. But the cities that do primarily all of the manufacturing are between 5 and 8,000 people, and everybody knows everybody. And some of the workforce is definitely transient, where they'll jump from company to company to company as people have work.
Right.
The Turks gained expertise in the firearms industry when they were actually making auto parts. So they had to be serialized often. They were within a 1 thou tolerance. So they gained this machining expertise. And through the ebbs and flows of the auto industry, they needed to divest into something else. And firearms is the direction they went. Now, a lot of people would say, why don't they make a lot of handguns and rifles? And it's because one of the things they regulate in Turkey is the manufacturing of rifled barrels. So that's why you see a very low number of handguns and rifles coming out of Turkey, but that's opening up, and we predict in 2 years what you are going to see is a massive number of rifles that again lead the world in price point and quality. And I've actually seen and played with many of the prototypes.
Interesting. Huh.
So,
Because
for
I have. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I've got a Cincinnati on the wall, which is very much like an 870. I've got a quote unquote Weatherby here that says made in Turkey, and I've got my Typhoon. And some people would try and lead me to believe that they're all produced in the same plant.
They're not. If one of the best indicators is the FRT system.
Yes, of course.
If you type Istanbul Silah, Silah, into the FRT system, immediately you're going to see Winchester and some of those things come up, and you'll see who is actually making guns for who. Beretta, Benelli, Stoeger, CZ, all of these companies, the TriStar, all of these things are made in Turkey. We actually were helping the RCMP map that list, so they knew, because there's great challenges. You bring in these new firearms. The government of Canada is very concerned with who makes them, because they also want a point of contact that, for example, if I went out of business, they could contact somebody in Turkey if they were doing a national firearms trace on a product, and my records weren't available. So, like I said, through trial and error, years back, we even pushed a major brand into Canada, and only to find out 2 years later they didn't actually manufacture a single thing. This was back in my USCon days. I lived through that one kind of painfully in the sense that we had it as a household name across the country, and then found out that they hadn't made anything, and ended up in a fairly painful lawsuit there. We eventually won, but the funny thing that came out of that was, because of this lawsuit, we actually found out who made all of the guns, and those are the companies that I deal with today.
Oh, there.
So it's that some of them remanufacture or rebrand, I guess, each other's stuff.
There's about 40 manufacturers, and there's over 400 brands.
Yeah, there you go.
So,
and
yeah.
The funny thing that happened to us as well, so now I have 14 companies that manufacture for me in Turkey, and we've gone, usually taking the manufacturer's name. Ozerbos Makina would not resonate with North Americans, but they came up with Typhoon Defense, and it most certainly has resonated.
Oh yeah.
But the amount, the quality of the work coming out of there is fantastic. But what happened to us the other week, we were always inundated almost once a month with 15 to 20 new Turkish companies contacting us, and it would happen religiously over a weekend. And the funny thing that it ended up, we found out that there's a businessmen's association specifically targeting firearms there, and they would all go and talk about their customers, where they're shipping guns, and who's buying a lot. And when the meeting took place, 14 big companies in Turkey came out and said, oh, he's got $1 million order with me. He's got $1 million order with me. And then they realized that we were buying at a much higher level. And then everybody started asking to do more business with us. And the one guy in Turkey who truly knows everything that's going on is the guy there's one person who does Cerakote in Turkey. So my Typhoons go to him for Cerakoting, my FD12s, every single gun that I have, and Ranger, another company that does bullpups for us, they kind of sat in and were dropping off an order of about 300 pieces for us, and then saw 1,000-piece Typhoon order getting Cerakoted called us up and said, what the heck is going on? How did he get 1,000 pieces and we only got 300? So it's created, and that's kind of, that gives you an idea of the cottage-like industry that they have there.
Truly.
And the transient workforce is that now they're pinpointing what my orders are with other people and saying, yeah, can you bump up my order because you gave him 1,000 pieces?
Jeez.
So, which I, you go to a North American manufacturer like Armalite, and they don't want anybody to know what I'm buying.
No, exactly.
Everything's very discreet and moves in here quietly, and we're selling. Where there, it's everybody knows what everybody's doing. So it's been a great experience, culturally going there and seeing the way that people live differently. And we work in a multitude of countries. We're very big in the surplus industry, or the surplus side of the business. Mm-hmm. So I have a 55,000 piece shipment coming in from Africa, 20,000 Lee Enfields, 5,000 Webleys, 10,000 Commando Arms LDPs.
Wow.
And a mix of other products. And even right now, I have unfired grease guns here, Tommies, suppressed Uzis, even the micros, fully functioning Vickers.
So I'm gonna be contacting you about a private tour.
We had guys through actually today as well.
There you go.
So people in the industry who
Trevor, their security is really good. You're not taking an Enfield off.
No, but they're gonna give me one of those little cards to put around my neck. They'll let me in. Now, will they let me out one of the Enfield?
Yeah, you can't put it on your pants.
Is it like a wine tasting tour where you get to just pick a couple?
Right? Oh,
this funny you say that too. Every Friday I cook steaks for all of the staff. We call it Filet Fridays. And if you're going to be visiting, that's the day to come through.
Maybe I'll retire early. You must have a spot for me there somewhere.
Trevor, I'll pick you up.
All right.
You'd be shocked at how hard it is to hire people in the firearms industry. It's
really?
Probably our biggest issue.
The shop I was working part-time for needed to really get somebody in there full-time. And apparently a lot of people in the industry are illiterate because, it says, must have a restricted firearms license, and people are showing up with applications in hand that don't even have a regular firearms license. The pain he went through for a month and a half, it was just ridiculous.
Well, we've always had, it's been an interesting thing over the years, like any business, sometimes employees work out, sometimes employees don't, but I would have thought it would have been a lot easier. And the interesting experiment over the last 2 years is we've had some people who truly love firearms, but maybe don't have sales experience, and where they've struggled a little bit. We have a recent hire who's, I guess he's a year here now, and he was selling credit cards at gas stations. And you can imagine how hard that must be.
Yep.
Do you want to save 5 cents on your gas? I know what I would say.
Yeah, we don't even answer them. We just walk by them we don't even see them.
Yes, and this young guy, we found him. He got his pal to come and work here, and with no firearms experience, is selling like it's unbelievable.
Oh, that's
competitive. And so it's been really interesting. We've actually, some of the most recent hires here have not come out of this industry at all. They've got great sales skills, and they're learning about firearms.
Well, you know what? Sometimes that's actually the best. Train them up the way you want them, right? So, Mark, another concern I hear people around the range bring up about why I don't want to buy a Turkish shotgun because I don't know about aftermarket, or not aftermarket support, but warranty support. I know I can get a new set of interrupter bars for my 870, but can I get a recoil spring for this thing? I'm apprehensive. I never see parts available in stores. So what is the warranty support or just upgrade support for these Turkish shotguns like?
Okay, a great question. One of the things in the earlier days that we were setting all these legal agreements for distribution across the world, Trigger Wholesale negotiated that depending on the manufacturer, we get between 2 and 3% of our purchase value back in parts to support Canadian warranty claims.
Okay, so if you buy $1 million worth of shotguns, you get 2 to 3% of that $1 million back in parts?
Absolutely, every shipment.
So parts aren't a problem.
I have 10,000 square feet of parts, over 8,000 different parts. And I can tell you, I've had to tell them to stop sending me parts because what's happened, the original tagline of our company was, we carry the parts for every firearm that we sell, which it sounds really, really neat. But now I'm warehousing 10,000 square feet of parts for guns that aren't breaking. So it is comical in the sense that I could, sometimes if the Turks were out of parts, they could call me and I could get them. And what's unique is we've started to identify which parts work for other manufacturers' firearms. And I've been actually the supplier for products that are competing against me because we have this volume of parts here. And if one of my dealers, none of the dealers like to carry parts. Because you never know what's going to break.
That's right.
It's tying money up, and it's far better to tie my money up than their money up.
Absolutely.
And we don't mind. So I literally have, I can put it on our Instagram, and you'll laugh because it's literally 10,000 square feet of parts, stocks,
amazing,
flash hiders, chokes. I have 3,000 barrel extension kits in stock right now, and probably 2,000 choke kits just for the Turkish guns.
Oh, man.
Every spring, pin, even extra barrels.
So whatever dealer I got my gun from can just pick up the phone and get me parts as fast as you can ship them.
As fast as we can ship them.
Amazing.
And we're generally 24-hour ship time. If it's in stock, we ship it within 24 hours.
Dang. You can't do any better than that.
Yeah.
Set an unfortunate high bar for us. The other thing that came out of the CSAAA events was people kept coming up saying, you ship so quickly. And why wouldn't I want to get it out the door if I have it? I send everything out the door on terms. Faster I get it out the door, faster I see a check, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
So the parts thing is an amazing thing. And in 10 years, I've carried all of the AR-15, M4, M16 parts, and many of those parts I haven't been out of stock in 10 years.
Wow.
So, but it's a little known fact. It's not the sexy part of a website or anything to go and say, hey, does Mark have a buffer tube, or, well, what has he got there? And even when people come in here to tour, they have to walk through the parts area to get to the firearms and the ammunition. So they're quite surprised, saying, what in the heck is all of this? Oh, those are recoil pads for, Turkish single shots.
And people can just call you up and buy them direct?
They can't buy direct. How warranty works on these firearms is we ask people to take it back to the point of purchase unless they are really far. As internet sales go up, we're finding that somebody may be in Calgary and they may have bought off of a Ontario dealer. The other thing that's kind of emerging in the market is now that I'm giving people access to my inventory, they are connecting it to their website and they'll sell out of my warehouse. So my guys are actually shipping it on the dealer's behalf.
Interesting. Yep.
So it's go ahead.
I was just going to ask about that. We see a lot of like on Gun Nuts, people are selling whatever, right? And it's if they need a part for it, where are they going to go for it?
I would at that point, if you're looking for a part, we would always prefer that somebody goes to a dealer store because we have regular shipments to all of the stores. So to mail one part out here or there can be expensive, but if it's going with a pallet of firearms and ammo, no problem. You don't even feel the pinch of it. But if somebody was really in a pinch, we had a competitive shooter who broke apart. They were fairly remote. What we did was we called the local dealer and said, we're going to send it direct to him, and I will give you this credit on your account, which is the commission you would have got for selling it.
Oh, jeez.
There you go.
Wow.
Well, it took me 10 years to build this base of dealers.
Sure.
And if they feel I'm competing against them,
you're right. Yep.
The whole thing kind of crumbles.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So we learned, the regional gun shows around here, I walked through it 4 years ago when people are still kind of saying, why were you at that gun show all those years ago? Were you going to sell stuff? And I'm like, no, I was just walking through. So wow. I'm kind of, by the nature of my business, meant to sit further back.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because, dealers, it's ugly, but dealers will rat each other out if they see somebody breaking MAP pricing. They do it.
And that's actually a positive for us because once I send the goods out to them, they truly do, from a legal standpoint, own them, and they can sell them for what they want. It's just when the prices keep eroding and keep getting down to the basement, these dealers, they really need to be working on a minimum of 20% margin just to stay in business.
Mm-hmm.
The cost of all of these things. So when there's a couple of guys who typically race to the bottom price point, we've actually stepped back from two dealers who, I couldn't figure out how they could operate on five points. And we just said, we're going to hold back and watch and see what happens. And, it's been a good thing to step away. Although I'd love to be in every store, I don't have to be. And we really want to protect the guys. So there's gun stores for the next 20 years here.
I just have one more question. Sorry.
Sure.
I don't know if we want to have it. So you said that you're opening this facility. When exactly are you going to be opening it, or is it going to be a retail location as well?
There's no retail location in there. The
Okay.
idea of, I spent many years growing up golfing, and my family, my father was so addicted to golf, we traveled. Our vacations were almost centered around it. And in the golf community, there's a golf course in St. Thomas, Ontario called Redtail. And if you're a golfer, you know about it. You wonder how you can get there. You wonder how you can play it. It's an aspirational kind of thing. The Queen of England has stayed there, Sean Connery. And I've had the pleasure of playing the course. And the idea behind our ranges and stuff like that is we will not be selling range memberships for it. But anybody who is tied to the industry and wants to host an event out there will donate that property for them to use for their event.
Okay,
Whether it's a shooting event, competition, any of those things, we'll donate the space to say, you can host your event out here for free.
Okay.
Or law enforcement requalification, things like that. Okay. But it won't be a pay-to-play kind of range because we'll at that point be storing almost 100,000 firearms at any one time there. We don't really want people walking the grounds every day.
Right. How about a charity shoot?
Absolutely.
Just asking.
I think I've heard.
Pushing the
I've
boundaries.
actually donated to that many years ago to the. It's the Podcasters Charity Shoot.
Charity
Yes,
shoot.
sir, you did.
Thank you very much.
I always say the best way to get a prize is to ask me for one.
That's true.
We don't often say no, but if that was something that you guys wanted to do in this neck of the woods, you'd be more than welcome to do it. The property is owned outright by us today. And the construction, we've already awarded the concrete and excavation contracts just 3 weeks ago.
Awesome.
So they'll be starting it in the spring.
Coming soon.
Very
Nice.
soon.
We'll
Vein
be
of
in
my
contact.
existence.
Well, Mark, before we say goodnight, you've dropped a lot of awesome bombshells and insights on us. Is there anything else you want to cover before we cut you loose?
I have never been a political person. I have never felt more strongly in my life the importance of getting everybody out to vote in this upcoming election. Supporting the groups, whether it's the NFA, the CCFR, the CSSA, the CSAAA, all those things are really important. But getting out there and voting is what's going to keep firearms in our hands and keep our sport and our lifestyle alive. So, that's the most important thing to me right now. I watched with glee last evening to some of that testimony, and I was even calling up people that I know voted for him and said, this is partially your fault,
Yes, absolutely. And you're off my Christmas card list.
Yes, my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law took the brunt of it, and I said, because I always, I obviously have a vested interest in the firearms community, but I also, when I'm not working here, I have a great love of firearms and the engineering and those things. And to think that some of that could be stifled for a couple of years until the government changes over again bothers me quite a bit. So my big thing is support the organizations that are supporting us because they are working very hard behind the scenes. But the biggest thing is getting out there and voting and mobilizing yourself. And of course, not everybody's a single issue voter, but
I never was. Until I got involved in something that they wanted to take away from me for things other people did.
Yes. Yeah, it's one thing that's weighing heavily on my mind, and that's why we've been touring MPs through here. We should throw a big SHOT Show event, and I had 5 MPs at that, and Andrew Scheer's campaign manager.
Wonderful.
So it was nice to see them kind of in public supporting you. It's one thing to get a phone call saying I've got your back. It's another thing to be in the public eye supporting you. So
absolutely. Well, that was a wonderful note to end on, and you couldn't be more right. So let's hope that everyone, I'm sure all of our listeners are going to get out and vote, but maybe they can put pressure on those people that believe that voting doesn't matter and I'm just one person, Well, if
every
each
vote
one
counts.
You got it. Yep. So, well, Mark, it's been a real pleasure, and I hope we can do it again sometime in the near future. Whenever
you would like, and if there's anything we can do to support you, you let us know.
Wonderful. We will talk. Thank you so much.
A couple of new Typhoons would be nice.
You know what? I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is here. Why don't I do this? I will donate 3 to you guys to use as you see fit.
Wow, that's awesome.
Way to go, Kelly.
Squeaky wheel gets the grease. So I will send you a message. I'll give you the color palette of the 38 available colors, and you tell me which ones you'd like and find a way to creatively use them and get them into people's hands.
Trevor doesn't even need to shave his legs for this one. This is awesome.
Yeah, normally Mark, I gotta shave something for free stuff.
I'll leave
cool.
that to you guys.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, thank you so much, Mark. And we know that you are a tremendous supporter of the industry and those working to promote and grow, and we really appreciate what you do.
Well, thank you very much. And again, we're happy to be on the show, and anything you need from us, my phone's always on.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks again, Mark, and thank you again for those shotguns. We'll be in touch. Matthew, we're sad that you didn't join us this evening.
Yep. Sorry,
All
not
right.
sorry.
Yeah, sorry, not sorry. Okay, listener feedback. YouTube. Has anybody been paying attention on YouTube?
None whatsoever.
Any
Yeah, no, I
feedback?
stopped listening when they were suggesting that we give our guns away or some craziness.
What?
No. Yeah, like prizes or something. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
We'll send patches out and stickers.
Shane, no, nothing has been announced yet. Once we, for the Maple Seed, everyone, Shane's asking if the calendar has been posted yet. No, it'll be coming out very, very soon. So just stay tuned. Listener feedback. Why don't we go on to that? Listener feedback is sponsored by Armory DC Gunsmith. Armory DC Gunsmith is a full-service gunsmith who specializes in firearms refinishing. He offers hot bluing, parkerizing, Cerakoting finishes, as well as wood finishing. Check out his online inventory of new and used guns, firearm accessories, optics, and more at dcgunsmith.ca. You can also follow him on Facebook under Armory, which is spelled the French way, DC Gunsmith, or you can also follow him on Instagram as well. All right, why don't you take Colin? Adriel, why don't you take Colin?
From Colin, I was listening to your last show, and that fellow was asking about training around Winnipeg. I would recommend he join a league night. There are several clubs in the area with league nights. He'll get a taste of IPSC as well as several pointers or instruction from some good people. There's Wednesday nights at the firing line in Winnipeg, and Monday nights during the summer out in Steinbach.
It's Steinbach.
Yeah. Not far from Winnipeg.
Yep.
No black badges needed to join either, but the firing line has a league fee and a guest fee that he would have to pay. And for Steinbach, he would require membership to the range. I'm sure there is other league nights at other ranges in the province. I am just not sure when they are. There's also training courses through Fast Toys. I didn't know these guys were in Manitoba. He can book private lessons here, and he points to Fast Toys has 90-minute training sessions. There's also group courses available. All he has to do is get in contact with Phil. Feel free to forward his email to the fellow who contacted the show and keep this handy in case people ask more about training in our region.
Yep. So that's from Colin. All right.
Yep.
Trevor, do you want to read the one from Craig? Because it's actually for you. No.
He's muted.
Yeah. So this one's
So
from
maybe
Craig.
he would.
He says, Trevor, I'm looking for match primers for pistol ammunition. I was just wondering what you
Yeah, I
use.
was gonna, but couldn't give me 3 seconds to get off mute.
Thanks, Craig. So do you want to answer him?
Yes. What was it again?
He's wondering what
Match
you use
primers.
for match primers.
Yeah. I use Federal small pistol primers, and if I find them and can get them for like the same price, I'll get Federal match small pistol primers. But typically you don't get them at the same price. I buy them 5,000 at a time, anywhere between $240 and $265 per 5,000. The match ones are a little bit better, but the reason why I use Federal is because they work in tuned match guns with light springs. If you have a double action, single action gun or a striker fired gun and the springs have been lightened, you may not get reliable ignition if you use some of the harder ones like S&B or Dominion, Winchester, CCI, that sort of thing. So Federal small pistol, Federal all around whenever possible. I get Federal for everything.
Yeah, they're because their primers go off with lighter strike than other stuff. Which is also a downside because apparently they're supposed to be a little bit more explosive and will chain fire a little bit more readily than the other stuff.
Okay.
Just don't drop a primer tube.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, never. If you would like to email the show, you can email us at slamfireradio@gmail.com. All right, podcasts, apps. So we don't have any reviews. Let's move on to shoutouts. Trevor, what do you got?
Mine is for Derek Merriweather. Huge shout out for being for winning the first ever PCC IPSC match in Atlantic Canada, possibly Eastern Canada, and probably everywhere east of Manitoba.
Sweet.
So, historical things. First time we offered this division, and Derek, deservedly so, got the win. He put a thumping on all of us and shot really well. And I don't feel like playing in PCC anymore. I'll probably go back to Classic. So great job, Derek. You should be very proud, man. Much deserved win. Well done.
Excellent. Adriel, what about you?
Oh yeah, Tommy for the beer offer and so he's going to loan me a bunch of 22 ammo. He's also going to loan me his Magneto speed, so I'll be able to check the
Wow.
the speeds that are coming out of this ammo and the SD, which is something that's really nice to know for long distance shooting, right? So very much thank you for that. He's also going to loan me a bunch of other stuff. There's so much I can't even list it all. I'll have to talk about it next week on next week's show.
He's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And I'm his favorite.
I am going to give a shout out to Colin, James, Brian, and Bren. These are listeners from Manitoba. I recently heard that they're listening every week. So obviously Colin's listening because he sent us an email, but I just wanted to say hello and shout out to everybody. Patreon supporters. We don't have anybody new who's a Patreonie. However, just to let you guys know that if you are a Patreonie, we are going to be having some new content tonight. So stay tuned. Have a listen.
I might have to edit it tomorrow.
Okay. Well, all right. In the next couple of days. And also, if you are somebody who's a Patreon supporter, we are going to be sending you, aka what?
We're doing a Patreon show next.
Yeah, we're doing a Patreon show next. Surprise! Remember, you arranged it. So if you are a Patreon, we're going to be sending you out some stickers, some patches, because you're important. Apparently the co-hosts aren't. And also, because of the fact that you are supporting us, we're able to put our content every week to you. So we would just wanted to say thank you about that as well. Make sure that you email us with your addresses. I know, Adriel, there's some new addresses in there as well. If you can check those.
And the patch is like really skinny, so it's really easy to slap into an area where you already have a bunch of patches in.
Okay. It's a nice patch, apparently. I'm looking at it. All right. Why don't we say goodbye to everybody? So go and join one of our national firearms associations like the CCFR, and go check us out on Gun Owners of Canada, and also like us on Facebook as well. That's it, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
So if you have any comments or questions for the show, please send an email to slamfireradio@gmail.com. Now go grab a gun and shoot something.
When the talking is over, it's time to get a gun.